Hello, my name is Vinaya-My and I'm going to talk to you about my experiences at the University of Arizona. I studied MBA from the University of Arizona and I graduated in 2011. That was about 5 years ago. So some of the things I'm saying may not be really relevant, as of now. Some of the faculty members might have changed, but a lot of my generic experiences will still remain the same. So I had applied to about four different universities in the US. I wanted to do my MBA from the US. So in India, I had about 3 or 4 years of work experience, and I was working for a startup company in Bangalore, and I took CAT coaching, and the CAT coaching was at a much higher standard than the GRE GMAT coaching. So that helped me get a very good score in GMAT. I took a lot of mock GMAT exams, and I had a really good GMAT score of 760 on 800. That was in the 99 point something percentile. And so that was enough to get me into Wharton. I mean, I had a reasonably good undergraduate GPA, and I had good work experience. I could have probably, I could have gone to Wharton or Harvard, or some of the best schools in the world. But it would cost me another $100,000, and it would take me about like 4 or 5 years to repay those loans, and I didn't want that. So I decided to apply to some universities which were slightly ranked, say between 15 and 30, not in the top 15, but between 15 and 30, where they did offer scholarships and funding. Universities like Wharton and Harvard and others, sometimes they don't offer scholarships because there are so many people who are waiting to pay and study there. But there are universities like the Indiana University, Kelley School of Business. There's like University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Rice University, and there's Purdue and Arizona State University. At least at the time when I was applying, they were known to offer scholarships and funding because they want to attract good students. So I applied to 4 universities, and well, strangely, I didn't even get admission to those because, even though I went to a career counselor, I was misguided. My statement of purpose was not in the right format. Some of the documents were not in the right format. They didn't particularly give me a reason for not giving me admission. But then, even though I did pretty well, even though I had a spectacular, fantastic 760 on 800 GMAT score, I still didn't get admission in those universities, 4 universities. And I was like really surprised. There were various factors, I guess. I mean, I mentioned, probably some details which were irrelevant, and I gave too much unnecessary information. It could have been a variety of reasons. I was really unhappy. But then I didn't want to wait another year and reapply, so I wanted to come. And I looked at all the business schools and which were still available. And I looked at the University of Arizona. That was the only one which had the deadline still, a few weeks away. So I applied to the University of Arizona. In those days, it was ranked like somewhere around the top 40 or 44 in the US. So it was low ranked, for my credentials. But I applied there, and this time I made sure I submitted the right documents, the right statement of purpose, in the right format. I took a lot of care. I did it with a lot of care, and I got admission with complete scholarship and graduate teaching assistantship. For my entire MBA, I had to spend only about like $500. That is like, when they make you an offer of admission, if you confirm it, you have to pay $500 to confirm. And then every year you have to pay an international student fee of about $70. So totally I paid maybe around $700 to the university. That's all I paid. And I got a scholarship, complete scholarship, more than $60,000 to $70,000 for a 2-year MBA program. So that's how I ended up in the University of Arizona. Basically, I didn't want to go anywhere north where there is snow. So I'd already been up north once, and I don't like it, where it's really cold, and, I like it warm and crispy. So I came down to Arizona, and then when I landed there, I mean, the Indian Students Association was really nice. They gave me a ride from the university, and a couple of girls gave me accommodation for about 10 days, and they were really nice. They took me around. One girl was, in fact, my senior at the university in the MBA program. So we went around, and it was very close to the university, just across the street, and looked at all the campus, that met the professors, and gave them sweets, and I got to know them, got to know my classmates, and then I was looking around for accommodation, and I found something that was a 10-minute walk away. So I got an accommodation there, and Um so the courses were really nice. We had the quarter system. So in the very first semester there are 2 quarters. So the first quarter we had like mostly like accounting, economics, statistics, a lot of these interesting things. I did pretty well in most of them. So we had to have like a minimum 3.0 GPA. So meaning cumulative GPA 3.0. So in one course you get an A grade, another course you get a B grade, another course you get a C grade. Overall it's still a B grade. So you're still good. In some other universities you have to get at least a B grade in all the courses. So it varies from program to program. So I did pretty well, and some of the courses were completely new. So there was like accounting and economics. I had no background in those. So it was very interesting, and for economics I took the help of a tutor, a PhD student. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, it's a new subject, so I would pay him $20 an hour and he would help me with economics, and it was really nice. And I did pretty well. It was very hectic. It's all about teamwork and teamwork. And I had really good relationships with most of my classmates and even roommates and friends. And I have very sweet memories about my time at the University of Arizona. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But at Arizona, I was really happy. And when I was an MBA student, I didn't have much money. I didn't have money to buy a car. I didn't even have a smartphone. But I was so happy because we had a good set of friends and, a good social life. And, it was all interesting at the university. But the sad part for me was that when I landed there, everybody was asking me, like, what was your GMAT score? And I would tell them 760 and 800. They're like, huh? Why did you come to this university? Why did you come to this university? That's what everybody said. Everybody who asked me that question, whether it was my classmates or my professors, everyone. They're like, then you should have gone to Wharton or Harvard or, at least Rice University or somewhere. I mean, why did you come here? Even the professors were all like, hey, why did you come here? I felt so bad. Yeah, I mean, I could transfer a year later, but then, they gave me complete scholarship. I made friends there. I was happy. So then we got down to the rigor of all the programs, and the most useful course I took in my MBA was in the first year, I think it's the first semester itself. It was called Business Communications, and our instructor was Professor Diza Sowers, one of the best professors ever. She's really smart, dynamic, and the course had a lot of interesting things about how to present a case, and we had a lot of case studies and practical, experiences. So it's like she taught us how to make good PowerPoint presentations, how to analyze a case and present it, and how to do crisis communication, what to say, what not to say. It was like the most useful course ever in my MBA. Much more useful than all the technical skills and all the project management skills and all the accounting and marketing skills. It's all about how you present. Like if you're presenting to a venture capitalist or presenting in a case competition, it's about business communications. That's like the most important thing for any manager. So we did pretty well, and then I met a lot of interesting people, and the first 2 semesters were kind of hectic, but the second year was a real breeze. So first year you don't really specialize much in anything. So second year you decide what you want to specialize in, whether it's like marketing or finance or entrepreneurship, or you can even just do like a general MBA. So I decided to do a general MBA with an emphasis on marketing. I took a lot of marketing courses simply because they were easy. It was interesting too, but they were really easy. I just wanted to get a 4.0 GPA without any risk of lowering my GPA, and I just wanted to graduate with the minimum amount of work. But when I look back upon that, I feel like I wasted all my scholarship money studying marketing because the courses were so easy. So if you watch my video about MBA in marketing, I mean, a lot of courses were about like international marketing and a lot of case studies and product innovation. My point is, I could have just studied those articles on the internet and learned it myself. I didn't have to take those courses because they were too easy, at least for me. But I took them because they were easy, and I just wanted to. I got pretty much like I think a 4.0 GPA in my second year in almost all the courses, and I was very happy. But in retrospect, I feel like I should have studied entrepreneurship. The University of Arizona McGuire School of Entrepreneurship is ranked top 10 in the US for entrepreneurship. So in entrepreneurship, you would learn about venture capital and how to run a company and launching a startup. That would have been more useful for me. I thought about it, but the entrepreneurship program was known to be really hectic, and they would give you all these assignments even in the summer holidays, and it was supposed to be really hectic. So I thought, why don't I just settle for something easy, and I just did marketing. But then after the summer holidays, for a summer internship, I couldn't get an internship in the U.S. I mean, there were not too many opportunities for non-Americans. For American students, yes, they get a lot of internships. But if you are not American, it's not so easy. And wasn't so easy in nowadays in the University of Arizona. So I did. I think I got an offer from this company called Shamrock Foods in Phoenix, but I didn't take it up. They were ready to pay me about $3,000 a month for 3 months. I think. Yeah, but then I didn't take it up because that's a dairy farming company. You know, we would work in the IT sector, of course, but they had all these cows that they would use, to produce milk, and at the end they would slaughter the cows. And I work for animal welfare, and I'm a strict vegetarian and a Hindu, and I'm strongly opposed to killing animals. And I thought, I'm not having anything to do with a company that kills animals, so I didn't take up that offer. Yeah, that was just it's about my principles. Anyway, so I went back to Bangalore to be with my family, and 3 months I was there doing an internship in a company called Empower Research. So I did a lot of pre-sales, competitor analysis, and a lot of marketing, all this kind of stuff for them. I don't think they paid me, but then it was a good learning experience. And I just spent time with my family and my dog. And then I came back, and second year was a real breeze. So I took a lot of marketing courses. When I came back, I thought I'm going to do a lot of MIS courses, Management of Information Systems. I realized I applied to the dual degree program, in fact. So if you spend one more semester, instead of 4 semesters, you spend 5 semesters, you can easily get a dual degree, MBA, MIS. I should have done that. But for MIS, they may not give you a scholarship. My scholarship was for the MBA program. So for the last semester, I would have to probably pay. And I didn't want to do that. So you'd have to cram up a lot of courses. There was one guy in my class, at least one guy who did this. He was a really smart guy. So he took a lot more than the minimum number of courses each semester. And he graduated with an MBA MIS dual degree in 4 semesters. But it was hectic, but he was a really smart guy. I mean, I should have done that. I should have made the most of the scholarship money. When you're on scholarship, you can probably take, any number of courses. And you don't even have to take courses within the particular MBA department. I signed up to take a French class in my 3rd semester, I guess, and then it was across the campus, and somehow I couldn't manage the time. I took the bare minimum number of courses and I signed up for French. But then I had to finish a class, for example, at 10 a.m. and then I had to be in the French class at 10 a.m. So you had to walk across the campus and go there, and somehow, well, it was just that I was probably lazy. I don't know, whatever. I signed up, I attended for a couple of weeks, and then I withdrew. I said I don't want it to affect my GPA. And the 4th semester, I think I again signed up for some a course in the music department. I think it was a piano class, and also for a German class. I attended for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I couldn't manage the time. And in your second year, you're also like busy hunting for a job. So I had to drop those courses. So in Arizona, I wanted to do. I thought, okay, even if I don't do the MBA MIS dual degree program, I thought, let me just take a lot of MIS courses. There's courses about business intelligence and enterprise data management, and there's data mining and data warehousing, and there's network security and project management. I thought I'm going to take a lot of MIS courses, even if I don't get a dual degree, because the courses I already need to get knowledge. So I decided to go there to attend a lot of courses. One of the most important courses I wanted to take was EDM, Enterprise Data Management. That's all about, SQL and database management stuff. But I signed up for that. But by the time I signed up, there were a lot of MIS students who had already signed up. And the class was full, so they wouldn't let me attend that course. And that was bad for me because I wanted to refresh my SQL and database management skills. Anyway, so that was a mistake. Remember to sign up for your classes early on. Because if you wait till the last moment, the class might get full and then they won't let you. So that's what happened. But I did take project management. It was very useful. I studied some IT courses and then a couple of other MIS courses, which were really useful. Uh, but then after I graduated, we went to career fairs and stuff, but it was very difficult to get a job from the University of Arizona because I was not an American citizen. And not many people got jobs on their own, those who were not Americans, okay? If you're American, you go to career fairs, there's all these companies like Lockheed Martin, there's Raytheon. Raytheon has a big presence in Tucson, it's like a defense missile manufacturing company. And there's companies like, Target and Walmart and even Microsoft, Amazon. So you go to a career fair, and for Americans, they kind of welcome them and have set up interviews and stuff. But the moment we went to the career fair and approached them, the first thing they would look at me and they would know I'm not probably American, right? They probably can tell I'm Indian. So they would ask me, do you have a green card or US citizenship, or do you need visa sponsorship? And I would say I would need visa sponsorship. They're like, sorry, we can't do this. More than 50% of the companies would turn you down right away, even though I was much more competent than the Americans. So then I realized how unfair life is, and nobody ever said life was fair. That's the way it is, deal with it. So it wasn't easy to get a job. Most of the people who got jobs were from referrals, from networking. So maybe their sisters, brothers-in-law, and their friends and their previous managers, somebody was able to give them a referral and get them a job. There was one guy whose uncle was in Walmart, and he got into Walmart, and then he took his girlfriend there to Walmart. It all happens through networking, contacts. That's the way it is. And some people, they worked on projects, during the MBA for like Microsoft. And he was, like one guy, he was offered a job in Microsoft. Some people got placed in Deloitte. There were, some people who managed to get good jobs. But some people were not able to get very good jobs. But then I did manage to get a job in Santa Clara. I somehow wanted to go to California. I was sick of seeing the desert cactus and the sand and everything in Arizona. I was sick, and I wanted to go to California. So I was searching for jobs mainly in California on Craigslist and stuff. So I got a job in Santa Clara for a startup company, and I was working there for a while, and then I went into consulting. So I became a QA manager, a scrum master, and agile coach, and I was working on different projects. I was in California for some time, and Southern California, and then again I came back to the Bay Area and established myself as a Salesforce program manager and agile coach. Then I started making much more money than a lot of people who graduated from Wharton and Harvard and other universities. And I was happy that I didn't have any loans to repay. That was really good. But if I had my life to live over again, I would probably go to Wharton, even if it would cost me $100,000, because you do an MBA once in a lifetime, and you go there mainly for the networking opportunity. So in Arizona, we had only about 60 students, 50, 60 students in the MBA program in our batch. But every year in Wharton and Harvard, they had, I think, about 700, 800 students easily, I guess. So you get to interact with all these entrepreneurs. There's Bill Gates, future Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerbergs, and all these people out there. You get to interact with them and network and start companies of your own. You do an MBA partly for the knowledge, whatever, but it's mainly for the networking opportunity. So if you're doing an MBA, do it from like a top 20 school if you can. It's worth the cost. You can repay your loans. So, or you can think about universities like, I know some friends who went to like a university in Norway or some other university in Europe where they got a really good world-class education almost like free of cost or at a very nominal price. So think about those. But if you don't get admission the first year, just wait for a year, reapply, but go to a top-notch school where there's very good placements, where you get networking opportunity mainly, okay? Remember, MBA is all about making contacts, friends, networks, and entrepreneurship. So the good things I liked about Arizona was, the business communications course was really, really helpful. Thank you, Professor Diza Sowers. And some of the professors were really nice. I liked some courses like economics and marketing. Most of them were really nice. But the ones that I didn't like personally were statistics. She was really boring, and her exams were kind of crazy. And I think more than 40% of the class was given a C grade. I didn't like the course much. I didn't like the way she taught it. But it was really boring, and I don't think she did a good job at that. And I also didn't like the way accounting was taught. It could have been taught in a much more interesting way. That was just my perception. And I also didn't like the way finance was taught in the first year. I mean, the professor that taught us finance was highly senior, very knowledgeable, very well educated. I mean, very knowledgeable. Okay, I think he was a full time professor, but his exams were excruciatingly tough, and he wasn't really interested to teach. And he just assumed that the students had a background in finance, which many people didn't. So he would he didn't show much interest in teaching, and it wasn't just my opinion. It's what most people thought. And I'm just sorry that the university didn't appoint a good professor who was interested in teaching finance, because finance is like the fundamental of any company. It's all about numbers. You have to show profits, loss. In any case, competition, okay? Regardless of how good your strategy is, your ideas, your innovative techniques, whatever, you have to ultimately substantiate it by showing numbers. How is it going to translate into profit? You have to show finance numbers. So my finance fundamentals were poor because he didn't do a good job teaching it. And that's one thing that makes me really angry when I think about my days in Arizona. I wish they would appoint a professor that took more interest in teaching finance. It wasn't just my opinion, it was an opinion of a lot of people. Anyway, so also we went on an international trip during the Christmas break, I mean after the first semester. I think it was in my first year. So we could either go to Brazil and Chile, or to Japan and South Korea. So we had the option. So I picked Japan, South Korea. So I got to see two countries completely free of cost because I had a complete scholarship. And if you don't have a scholarship, then you had to pay about $4,000 to $5,000. So that's the good part. So I got to see two countries, Japan and South Korea, without spending a penny. So that was kind of good. And overall, it was good, but if I had my life to live over again, I would go to a top 20 school. There were top 20 schools that did offer scholarship too. I would probably wait and reapply and, make sure I went to a top 20 school. I didn't realize how important it was. I mean, at that time, I just wanted to come and start doing an MBA, and I just came. Even though I didn't get admission in the 4 universities I applied to, and then I got to University of Arizona. But if I had my life to live over again, I would reapply and somehow make sure I did it from a top 20 school. You do an MBA once in a lifetime, okay, mostly. So it's very important to do it from a top-notch school. And, the average GMAT score in the University of Arizona was only 635. So there were people with GMAT scores of like 580, 600, 650, most of them. And they were like, what? You have a 760? Then why did you come here? I felt bad about that. And yeah, well, the good part was they supported me throughout, and I had a complete scholarship, and I made some good friends, and it was warm, it was nice, the cost of living was low. Luckily, I had mostly good roommates, and, except for one or two annoying people. I mean, we had a really good circle of friends, and I carry very sweet memories about my time in the University of Arizona. We'd play racquetball, and, we'd go swimming, and we'd we play a lot of sports, and watch Indian movies. There's a big Indian community, and it was really nice. But my only point is, for all the effort I did, and I got this really good GMAT score and everything, I should have probably gone to a top 20 school. That's one thing I regret. Later on in finding jobs and everything, it's probably better you do it from a top-notch school. And but say 5 years later, I probably make more money than a lot of Wharton and Harvard graduates, and I'm well established in the Bay Area as an agile coach and a program manager, and I work for an American startup company, and I'm well placed, I'm happy. But if I had my life to live over again, I would probably still want to go to Wharton. So the other thing about the MBA is marketing is usually easy. I mean, look, if you want to be a product manager or something like that, you study marketing, it's okay. But if you're on a scholarship or something, I mean, it's like, take courses that will really help you later on in life, like entrepreneurship, a lot of finance. Some people find finance easy, but for me it wasn't really easy because my fundamentals were not so good. it's a very important to get a solid background of finance and learn something about venture capital and mergers and acquisitions. These are very important topics if you're planning to be in the corporate world. So some of the courses I would recommend are mergers and acquisitions, a lot of finance courses and venture capital courses, and of course the fundamentals of marketing and innovation, and then project management. That's a very good course. They teach you how to use MS Project. That's really good. Business intelligence is very good. Data mining, data warehousing, those are really good courses. So and enterprise data management, EDM, that's all about SQL and database management. So it's very important to study that course if you're planning to be like in the IT industry, but even if you're in the management side. So make sure you pick courses that are really useful, even if they may be slightly difficult. So that's one thing I would like to say. And MBA is all about teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. And make sure you use the time to get to know all your classmates and build a lot of lasting relationships. It's all about networking. And when it comes to jobs, never ever feel jealous that somebody else got a job just because he knew somebody in that company or he had contacts or referrals. That's the way the world works. So you have to just find your own place. And overall, I'm grateful to the University of Arizona that they gave me a complete scholarship, and I carry sweet memories. But my advice to people who are thinking about doing an MBA, try to do it from a top 20 or top 25 university. I hope you found this useful. Thank you.